Hello, and this is my Scenario 2 submission. For this assignment, we were asked to give two statements as the Chief of Police. The first statement was to be given without knowing too many facts on the night of the officer-involved shooting. The second statement was to be given after an investigation into the officer-involved shooting had taken place. Here's my first statement. Hello, I am Chief Garcia with the Louisville Metro Police Department, and I am here to explain what happened tonight. To begin, I strongly encourage you all to remain calm. There will be no more shots fired tonight. At this time, what we do know about the situation that took place in these apartments is that my officers were executing a search warrant. This search warrant was obtained in a lawful manner and considered high risk, meaning that my officers did not have to knock and announce before entering. As most of you heard, there were multiple shots fired during the execution of the warrant. Those shots wounded one of my officers and one of the subjects. My officers have also taken another subject into custody. That is all both you and I know at the moment. Therefore, I cannot answer any questions you may have. I can tell you that there will be a full-blown investigation done to see what happened tonight. And as soon as I get new information, I will make sure to make another statement. And here is my second statement. Hello, I am Chief Garcia with the Louisville Metro Police Department, and I am here to update you all on the situation that took place on March 13, 2020 at 3003 Springfield Drive, Apartment 4. On the night of the situation, I delivered another statement where I said that an investigation would be done into what took place. At that time, all both you and I knew was that a warrant was executed, shots were fired, 2 people were injured, and 1 subject was in custody. After an investigation took place, we now know that the executed search warrant was for Jamarcus Glover, a man that Miss Breonna Taylor, one of the subjects, had dated in the past. Glover had listed Taylor's apartment address as his own and even received mail there, which is why my officers had reason to believe he would be found there. The search warrant obtained by my officers was indeed a no-knock search warrant. The officers claimed that they did knock and announce their presence with every bang to the door, while Kenneth Walker, the subject taken into custody, said there was only bangs to the door, which is why he became defensive in the first place. Walker awaited the intruder's entry into his and Taylor's apartment, at which point it is unknown if the officers identified themselves. Walker fired 1 shot from his weapon, which he is legally licensed to carry, and it hit Officer Mattingly in the thigh. This is when the shootout began, and before he exited the apartment, Mattingly fired shots back. Cosgrove and Hankinson, the other 2 officers on the scene, also fired multiple shots, but what does remain unknown is which officer's bullets hit Taylor. At about 12:44 a.m., dispatch began receiving calls from residents of the apartment complex advising that there had been multiple shots fired, and even while a concerned neighbor was on the phone with dispatch, more shots were fired. Walker himself called the police while this was all happening in an attempt to get help for Taylor, who was shot and lying on the floor. It is unknown based on EMS records at what point Taylor did receive attention for her wounds. Following that incident, charges were brought upon Walker for attempted murder of a police officer, which were eventually dropped due to public outcry. I, as the Chief of Police, hear and stand with the community. What happened on March 13th is unacceptable, and I will work towards reforming this police department. Standards for executing warrants will change. All warrants will now be served during reasonable hours, either in the early mornings or evenings when the residents are certain to be home. Invading of the middle of the night can cause for panic, as was seen in this case. The use of no-knock warrants will also be discontinued to promote safety by announcing officer presence. The officers involved included Sergeant Mattingly, Officer Cosgrove, and Officer Hankinson. They have all been fired from this police department. They acted recklessly and shot more times than necessary to execute this warrant, seen as a soft target. I do this to encourage holding officers accountable when they have done something wrong, and I hope this inspires other police departments nationwide to begin change within their police department. I would like to inform the public that Officer Hankinson will have criminal charges brought against him for shooting negligently. He shot blindly through a patio door and window, which is unacceptable in this police department.